Ever wonder what happens to those shocking SpongeBob moments that were too wild for TV? Behind those iconic episodes are deleted scenes that are so outrageous they were hidden from audiences for years. Today, I'm revealing 20 mind-blowing deleted scenes from SpongeBob SquarePants that never made it to your screen. By the end of this video, I'll show you the most disturbing deleted scene that changes everything about how you see the show.
He's innocent.
What are you gonna do, Krabs? Pour hot oil on me? Or put bamboo shoots under my nails?
We all know the episode Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy. It's considered one of the most notorious Sandy episodes ever, leaving many fans with a sour taste in their mouths. In this episode, Plankton steals Sandy's fur coat, forcing her to search all over town in just her underwear. But did you know that originally, Sandy was going to be completely naked? No bra, no swimsuit, nothing. This explains the bizarre plot hole where everyone calls her naked, despite her still wearing underwear in the final version. Look, a naked chipmunk, a hairless goat, a nudist ferret. I mean, if she went to the beach like that, she'd look perfectly normal by bikini standards. There were also smaller deleted scenes, including one where Sandy covered herself with a construction cone that caused an accident, and another where she tried to buy clothes but was refused service because no clothes, no service. That's actually a pretty clever joke they cut.
Some low-life varmint stole my things and broke into my home. My home!
You'd be shocked at how many alternate plot ideas were considered for the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run before they settled on the final story. Originally, this was planned as a hybrid live-action animated film, returning to that Who Framed Roger Rabbit style. King Neptune would have been played by a human actor, with dark creatures as his minions. In this version, Neptune would have stolen Gary to create clones of him, but that's not even the wildest concept. Another rejected plot featured a science fiction approach with giant cats as the villains. Imagine giant mecha cats smashing through Bikini Bottom, chasing SpongeBob and Patrick. How awesome would that have been compared to what we got? They even considered a version where SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, and Squidward would visit completely different worlds, including a futuristic realm inhabited by dolphins. This idea was scrapped for being too far-fetched. Because, you know, talking sponges living in pineapples underwater is totally normal. According to an interview with director Tim Hill, these wilder ideas were abandoned partly out of respect for Steven Hillenburg, who preferred more grounded, relatable plots. There were also smaller scenes cut from the final film, like Gary using a litter box, which was deemed too gross. And originally, the Camp Coral flashbacks were placed at the beginning of the movie rather than at the end, where they felt more like a shameless advertisement for the spin-off show.
Nice work, boys. Way to take my pearls of wisdom and flush them down the toilet.
Remember the Truth or Square special that featured SpongeBob and Sandy getting married? Well, there was a deleted moment that would have completely changed how we view their relationship. Originally, after the priest says he didn't know the wedding was just a play, SpongeBob was supposed to respond with, "It doesn't have to be," causing Sandy to slap him across the face. While we don't have confirmation on why this was removed, it's pretty clear that it would have definitely answered whether SpongeBob has romantic feelings for Sandy, something the show usually keeps ambiguous. However, we did get confirmation later in a very unusual way when SpongeBob is splattered by a truck in a mobile game and says, "Tell Sandy I love her." Plus, it seems pretty out of character for Sandy to slap SpongeBob just for admitting he cares about her. If they were doing karate, maybe, but in this situation, she'd more likely say something like, "Oh, SpongeBob."
Duck in the fry vat.
That story gets better every time you tell it, SpongeBob.
Hold on!
It's no secret that SpongeBob really likes his Krabby Patties, but in To Love a Patty, we almost saw just how much he really likes them. This episode already pushes boundaries with SpongeBob's strange fixation on a Krabby Patty that he treats like a romantic partner. But originally, the episode included a scene where SpongeBob wakes up next to Krabby Patty in his bed, wearing only his underwear. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's meat fixations, but this scene was clearly too suggestive for a kids' show. The writers toned it down to just a picnic scene instead, removing the more explicit, romantic undertones. If you think about it from a Freudian perspective, These fixations might actually be SpongeBob projecting his suppressed feelings for Sandy onto something safer, a sandwich. But that's a theory for another video.
In all my years of fry cookery, I have never seen such a lovely group of patties.
This is one of the most famous deleted scenes in SpongeBob history. In just one bite, Squidward tries to sneak into the Krusty Krab at night to get his hands on a Krabby Patty. In the final version, he just walks right in. But originally, there was an elaborate security system. When Squidward kicks open the door, he spills a bucket of liquid. After sniffing it, he realizes, hey, this isn't water, this is gas. A robotic arm then drops a lit match into the gasoline, causing a massive explosion. Squidward, covered in soot, enters the kitchen only to set off another security system that explodes again. This scene was removed for obvious reasons. Showing a character intentionally being blown up with gasoline was deemed too dangerous for children who might imitate it. The timing was particularly bad, as the episode aired in October 2001, just a month after 9/11, when sensitivities about explosions were especially high. Interestingly, this scene was so thoroughly removed that it doesn't appear on any DVD box sets, including the first 100 episodes collection.
Hey, this isn't water. This is gas.
According to Clancy Brown, the voice of Mr. Krabs, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, was heavily controlled by Paramount executives who were leaning over everybody's shoulder, saying what should and shouldn't be done. Originally, the movie was meant to be entirely 2D animated, but executives insisted on adding CGI sequences, which they prominently featured in the marketing to draw in audiences. They also cut almost every scene featuring Pearl and Mrs. Puff, supposedly because they were less popular than Sandy. Sorry, Pearl fans! However, perhaps the biggest change was the removal of an entire song called Thank Gosh It's Monday, where SpongeBob sings about how much he loves the first day of the work week. If you're curious, you can find this deleted song online. Another interesting deleted scene featured nasty patties being served to demanding customers. Remember those disgusting patties that supposedly poisoned the health inspector? Well, in this deleted scene, SpongeBob loses his ability to make proper Krabby Patties and accidentally creates nasty patties instead. Mr. Krabs, desperate to satisfy refund-demanding customers, serves these horrifying creations anyway, resulting in customers vomiting all over Squidward. This scene was cut for being too gross, which is saying something about SpongeBob. In the Halloween episode Scaredy Pants, SpongeBob shaves himself down to look like a ghost, accidentally removing too much of his body and exposing his brain. This already disturbing scene was originally going to be even more graphic. The storyboards included a detailed close-up shot of SpongeBob's exposed brain, which was deemed too frightening for younger viewers. The episode also originally ended by fading to black after revealing SpongeBob's brain, rather than having him cheerfully say, "Don't worry, it grows back." This line was added at the last minute to reassure kids that SpongeBob would be fine by the next episode. Interestingly, since October 2020, Nickelodeon has actually cut this line from TV airings due to timing issues, though it remains intact on DVD releases and streaming services.
Sorry, Amy boy! Hope you're not too scared to come to me party tonight!
Sailor Mouth is the infamous episode where SpongeBob and Patrick discover a bad word, represented by dolphin sounds, written on a dumpster, and start using it constantly. While the episode cleverly uses sound effects to censor the actual swearing, the original script pushed things even further. According to the episode's audio commentary, there was a deleted scene where SpongeBob was supposed to say, "Go dolphin noise yourself!" followed by Patrick responding, "Well, dolphin noise you too." These lines were removed for obvious reasons. They destroyed all subtlety and made it way too clear exactly what words were being censored. Plus, having SpongeBob explicitly tell someone to, well, you know, was deemed too easy for kids to imitate.
Gee, I sure am glad Mr. Krabs told us that word we were using was a bad word.
Yeah, me too.
The first SpongeBob movie is beloved by fans, but it originally included several scenes that never made the final cut. Remember those pirates at the beginning of the film who sing the theme song in a theater? They were originally going to be led by Patchy the Pirate. Tom Kenny's live-action character would have had a much bigger role in the film. According to showrunner Vincent Waller, Patchy was removed because executives worried that his intentionally low-budget appearance might scare the movie folks. It's a shame because many fans, including me, felt like Patchy was the missing piece from the movie's opening. There were also smaller cuts like SpongeBob referring to the Goofy Goober staff as bartenders, removed for alcohol references, and a bizarre sequence where SpongeBob and Patrick would have encountered a real-life squirrel version of Sandy in the human world, which disgusted Patrick so much that he vomited. Poor Sandy can't catch a break. Perhaps most intriguingly, the movie almost included human versions of SpongeBob and Patrick in the real-world sequences. Can you imagine what a human SpongeBob would look like? I guess the closest we'll ever get is the trusty slab segment from later seasons.
Wrong channel! Your order, sir!
Extra ketchup, extra mustard.
Now we've reached one of the most shocking deleted scenes in SpongeBob history. In the relatively recent episode SpongeBob in Random Land, where SpongeBob and Squidward deliver a package to a realm where anything can happen, they originally encountered something truly unexpected. Red Mist Squidward! If you're not familiar with creepypastas, Red Mist, or Squidward's Suicide, is a famous internet horror story featuring a disturbing, blood-eyed version of Squidward. Amazingly, the SpongeBob team actually animated this fan-created horror icon for a brief cameo. In the deleted scene, when Squidward opens a door in Random Land, he briefly sees this nightmarish version of himself with bloodshot eyes staring back at him. Nickelodeon quickly removed this scene and replaced it with baby Squidward instead. According to artist Adam Paloyan, the show's crew wanted a reference to a truly silly, trying-to-be-dark fan fiction. It's incredible that the creators acknowledged this dark corner of SpongeBob fandom, even if it was ultimately cut from the final episode.
Oh, this place is a nightmare!
Did you know we were originally supposed to meet Mr. Krabs' parents? Well, sort of. In the episode Clams, Mr. Krabs finally earns his millionth dollar and wants to share the good news. In a deleted scene, he excitedly calls his parents to tell them, except they're clearly deceased, as the scene cuts to their tombstones in a cemetery. This darkly humorous moment was likely removed for being too morbid for younger viewers, especially those who might not yet understand the concept of death. Some kids might suddenly start asking their parents uncomfortable questions about why Mr. Krabs was talking to gravestones. According to the tombstones, his parents would have been named Victor Krabs and Betsy Krabs, a little piece of SpongeBob lore that never made it to the screen.
This is my $1 million earned!
Snowball Effect is the episode where SpongeBob, Patrick, and eventually Squidward engage in an epic snowball fight. But originally, Squidward's competitive streak was going to take a much darker turn. In a deleted scene, Squidward imagines taking his revenge too far by creating a snowman dungeon where he would imprison SpongeBob and Patrick. He was supposed to say, "Aha, aha, I'll bring them to my snowman dungeon and extract their valuable secrets." While the idea of Squidward having twisted revenge fantasies is pretty on brand for his character, the concept of a torture dungeon, even a snowy one, was deemed a bit too dark for the show's young audience.
Fort Squidward is now all but impenetrable!
In Dying for Pie, there's already a pretty graphic scene where SpongeBob performs open heart surgery on Squidward using a flashlight inside his body. But the original version was even more disturbing. Originally, Squidward was supposed to ask, "Are you sure you should be poking it like that?" To which SpongeBob would reply, "Who's the doctor here, me or you?" Right after this, blood would rupture out of Squidward's heart, and a nervous SpongeBob would desperately plug the hole. This grossly violent scene was removed not just for being too graphic, but also because the writers didn't want to give kids the impression that SpongeBob considered himself a qualified doctor without any training. That's actually a pretty responsible decision.
Are you sure you should be poking it like that?
Who's the doctor here?
Procrastination might be the most relatable SpongeBob episode ever, showing how SpongeBob gets distracted while trying to write an essay. Interestingly, for 13 years, from 2006 to 2019, 3 scenes were removed from this episode before being restored on Nicktoons. The first deleted scene shows SpongeBob looking out his window to see Patrick rubbing lotion on Sandy's back while she says, "Come on, SpongeBob!" This was removed because it supposedly looked like Patrick was unhooking Sandy's bikini, though many viewers never interpreted it that way. The second scene featured SpongeBob exercising, but it was cut because his nose moving up and down during push-ups apparently looked suggestive. Really makes you wonder what the censors were thinking. The third deleted scene showed a car crashing into a wall, which was removed because Nickelodeon feared kids might try to imitate the crash. Personally, I think most kids are smart enough not to deliberately crash vehicles. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, or you might have disturbing thoughts after watching this video.
Come on, SpongeBob!
During the special episode, Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, also known as Who Bob What Pants, where SpongeBob gets amnesia and reinvents himself, the show created an alternate version of the theme song that was ultimately cut. This Who Bob What Pants theme song was a creative twist on the original, reflecting SpongeBob's identity crisis in the episode. While the reason for its removal isn't clear, perhaps the creators didn't want to mess with the iconic original theme that viewers know and love. It's a shame because this alternate theme was a clever way to reinforce the episode's premise about SpongeBob losing his identity.
Even more important than the paper is the pencil.
The beloved episode where SpongeBob tries to befriend Plankton originally contained a more troubling moment. According to storyboard panels, there was a scene where Plankton held his jellyfish net like a rifle and asked, "So what happens if we shoot him?" while pretending to fire the net. SpongeBob was supposed to respond, "You don't shoot him." This clear reference to firearms was removed and replaced with Plankton asking, "So what happens after we eat him?" instead. The change was likely due to the Columbine High School shooting, which occurred just 5 months before this episode aired. While Plankton still holds the net like a rifle in the final version, the explicit mention of shooting was eliminated.
That just wasn't fair. Here, take the stupid patty. I don't want the secret recipe anyway.
Did you know SpongeBob's very first episode looked completely different in its original 1997 version? Instead of the iconic theme song we all know, Help Wanted originally opened with fast-paced action music and colorful paintings of SpongeBob over crashing waves and seagull sounds. When the episode officially aired on May 1st, 1999, after the Kids' Choice Awards, it featured the now famous theme song we all recognize. The 1997 version also had numerous differences in the credits, including misspelled names, like Bill Faberbacca instead of Fagerbacca, and Partic Star instead of Patrick. Even the closing logo was different. Instead of the United Plankton Pictures logo, it featured a simple created by text above a SpongeBob sketch with Steven Hillenburg below. This was before Hillenburg had created his production company.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
In the episode Texas, where Sandy considers returning to her home state, there is a deleted scene showing just how upset SpongeBob was about losing his friend. The original animation included several frames of SpongeBob literally swelling up and turning bright red with emotion before following Sandy to the bus station. This physical manifestation of his emotional distress was deemed too intense and removed from the final version. Several animation cells showing this transformation have appeared on eBay over the years, giving us a glimpse of just how dramatically SpongeBob would have reacted in this scene.
I'm going back home to Texas.
What? Now? You can't!
According to the 1996 pitch Bible for SpongeBob, the episode Reef Blower was going to have a totally different storyline. Instead of the dialogue-free short we got, the original plot involved SpongeBob using a reef blower to clean his yard, only for it to go out of control, sending him flying all over Bikini Bottom. Patrick would then come out with his own reef blower and imitate SpongeBob. The power of the two reef blowers combined would erode the foundation of Squidward's house, causing it to collapse with him inside. This would make Squidward so fed up that he'd decide to move away, with SpongeBob and Patrick trying to convince him to come back. This rejected plot was later repurposed for the episode Squidville, where Squidward moves to a community of other octopuses after getting fed up with SpongeBob and Patrick's antics.
Put my windows back.
No problem, Squidward. We're on your side.
In the episode Sleepy Time, where SpongeBob's dream self visits the dreams of his friends, there is a deleted colored storyboard showing SpongeBob climbing onto Pearl's bed and pulling the sheets over himself after invading her dream. While there's no context provided for this strange scene, it raises uncomfortable questions about why SpongeBob would randomly sleep in a teenage girl's bed. This potentially inappropriate moment was wisely left on the cutting room floor.
Oh, Pearl, this is your dream.
You're just in time for the tea party.
Actually, I was looking for your dad's dream.
Which deleted scene shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And do watch our videos about all deleted scenes in Bluey.
Oh, your delivery, my good man. Mission accomplished.